Can I call you?
Hey. Finally, we are here. Oh my God. Finally. I feel like an applause.
The Japada pod is live for the very first time. Wow. And what a day to go live. Mother's Day of all days. Mother's Day
Yes,
26.
memorable one. Yes. Oh
Well,
my
happy
God.
Mother's Day, everyone.
Thank you.
And it's so fitting because it's a mother-daughter podcast. Very
Yes,
fitting.
isn't it? Isn't
Almost
it?
find it.
Yeah, and happy Mother's Day to all mothers over there from wherever you are joining us from, Canada, wherever it is. Let us also know in the comment section if you are joining us live, wherever. Let us know. Let us
Yes,
know where.
please. Happy
Type it.
Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers intending, existing, whether with the title or not. People that have lost their mothers as well. That's something that Tommy Cares brought into the front of our mind. That those people also should have a special place in our hearts on Mother's Day. So happy birthday
Mhm.
to mothers and all ramifications. And thank you for all you do.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's such a honor to, at least worldwide to set aside a day or a Sunday, especially, just to acknowledge the efforts, the acknowledge the love, the sacrifice, the great works that
Mothers do.
yes, women do through mothering, because it's not just those that actually gave birth to us, especially for those of us that came from or that are from Africa. It takes a village to actually raise a child, in Africa. It's not just one person, so many people, because I'm sure you should be able to testify to that fact that it's not just one person, you know yes, there's a main person, but we have other people, other voices that are helping to shape as well. So it's such a
Absolutely.
yeah, it's such a great delight to have a day to celebrate.
Deserve it and more.
Na na na
Sorry.
na na
Your
na.
Mother's Day your Mother's Day will soon be crowned, is all I will say.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm still I'm waiting for that crown,
over until it's
for the
over.
icing on the cake,
Yes, so
because
maybe you'll come back and tell them what your crown was.
I will. Maybe the next live stream, please remind me that I need
Okay.
to I need to tell them. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, you already know who we are, but for the sake of introduction, for the sake of formalities, my name is Mololuwa, and I'm joined by my mother. Hi, mother.
Hi, doctor. My name is Atinuke, and today we are not in the same place, and hence the live stream.
Yes,
You know.
indeed. Indeed. And you know what we do over here? We turn Jackpot into Jackpata, and we do it in style. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining us, albeit in a very different format. We are still grateful to have you guys join us. So today we're going to jump right into it and try and maximize the time we have because, like I said, it's Mother's Day, so we know you may all still be in the spirit of
I'm sure
celebration.
a lot of yes.
Let's not disrupt your festivities for too long, but let's make it worthwhile whilst you're with us and whilst
Mm,
we get to spend time with you. So please do, if you're watching live, please do drop a comment and
please
say
do.
hello to this mother, to
Yes.
your favorite, not this, your favorite mother
Mm,
daughter duo,
You
the
know.
first mother daughter podcast. So drop.
Yes.
Right. Okay, we're gonna go straight right into it. We have some dilemmas that we are going to discuss. But to have all input into the dilemmas. We want your comments, your contributions, your thoughts, your opinions, as well as us. Okay, so I'm going to read the first one out. And it says, Dear Japada, I'm a 29-year-old returnee planning my wedding in Ghana, and my mom and I are completely clashing. My
Mm,
fiance and I want a small luxury but eco-friendly wedding, about 50 guests max, because we hate waste and don't see the point of feeding a hall full of people we don't actually have a relationship with. We want something intimate, meaningful, and sustainable, not just big for big's sake. Here's the
mhm,
complication. We and our parents are contributing financially to the wedding. In fact, the parents have offered to cover a huge portion of it. But even if they decided to pay for the entire wedding, I still don't want a massive event filled with people I don't care about and may never see again. For me, it's not about who pays, it's about the kind of day I want to remember. My mom is inspired by the idea of a 50-person guest list. She has already told church members, family, friends, and community people that they're invited. In her mind, a big wedding is about honoring everyone who raised me and maintaining social bonds. She says a small guest list will embarrass her and make it look like we are proud or stingy. On top of that, I'm seriously considering cutting down the full traditional wedding ceremony so we can save money to invest in a business I want to start. Is it wrong to insist on a small, eco-conscious wedding and possibly a reduced traditional ceremony? Can I say no to a big community wedding without disrespecting my parents and my culture? Or am I being selfish and ungrateful? It's quite a good one for Mother's Day, in fact. It again seems very fitting because the mum mentioned the point about all these people that have raised her and how it is only right for them to be in attendance at her wedding. As a mother, what do you think?
mm. Wow. Wow. Anyway, for this dilemma is really about it's like it's like starting a family meeting, to be honest. In the comment section, which I hope that people will join, you know, when this 29-year-old you said returnee is planning her wedding in Ghana. She wants a small, luxury, eco-friendly wedding of about 50 people in Africa. That's Ghana is in Africa, right? Mhm. And what she's now saying is that she does not want to feed a hall of people that she does not really know. And the mom is saying, Tofiaka, like my Igbo people will say, if you do a 50, if you do a 50 man wedding, it's like you are disgracing me. That's how it is to the mom. And her question is, it's funny, right? I don't know. It's funny somehow, this question. Our question is, should my mother be able to insist that I have a big wedding because of okay, first of all, you said let me throw in the perspective of the mother's perfect perspective. Diaspora kids or diaspora returnee or people that have been exposed to the West, I think sometimes miss something. And what they're missing is the fact that, yes, they have grown of spent maybe significant part of their lives in the West. And the West has this individualistic culture. I'm not invalidating what she's saying or what she's feeling, but at the same time, the mother's expectation too, I don't think should be put aside as if it does not matter, because it does matter. It does matter. What I'm trying to just say here is that the mother's perspective is about African culture. African culture is the culture of I bring forth a child, but everybody, the neighbor, that family, that church community, that extended family community, everybody actually contributes in raising a child. So I think from the perspective of that mother, especially as an African mother, the way we see that day, we don't see it as just one person's day, or the day that it's for just the bride and the groom, which is the typical way that the Western culture would see it, because of the individualistic culture that they have. We have a communal culture. And because of that communal culture that we even raise our children communally. So one person cannot say there's an aunt that has contributed something, there's a neighbor that has contributed something. So for the African parent, or this African mother, it's like we are using that day to acknowledge all of you. That is what it means. Yes, to the bride, it is like, I don't know this bunch of people. Yes, you don't know them, but they have contributed something on your way, on when you were growing up. That's the way the mother or the parent sees it. And for those church members that your mom might invited, they may have prayed for you. You don't know. They might have helped your parents in parenting you. You don't know. They might have supported your family for years in different things that are unknown to you. And that's why the African community acknowledges everybody's contribution. And that's a way of showing that, okay, yes, all of us. Sometimes you see somebody, you see even a couple, or even you as a child, you get somebody and your mom is telling you, oh, you don't remember auntie XYZ. Oh, when you used to go to this and this school, she's the one that used to take you and drop you. Ah, you forgotten. Of course you have forgotten. Of course you have forgotten. So for them, or for the African person, it's like they must be at your wedding. They must be at your wedding. So to you, you're like, I think it's a conflict of culture that is coming into play here. When you have been exposed to the individualistic culture, I'm not saying that is wrong on its own, but it has its merits and also its cons as well. The communal one too has its merits and the demerits as well. But because there's a conflict of that, because that child, I'm just still speaking, I'm not considering the financial or the economic perspective now. I'm still speaking as from the perspective of that African mom. So in many African communities, a big wedding, or even what you call it might not be a big, for 50, 200 is a big wedding. 200 people, 200 guests. If it's a big wedding for somebody that wants a 51. It's also a way for parents to say thank you to the people that have supported them on the way. That's what I can just explain that woman's angle. Yeah.
But of all days to choose to do that, nothing wrong with it. It's a noble thing to do. Of all days to choose to do that, does it have to be the one day that there is the day that there's only one of in your life? Your wedding
Because
day is
after,
the only
because
day that.
big crowd. I don't think there's any other one apart
But
from the wedding.
I'm just
I don't
saying
think
this.
there's any other one. Give me an example of another event that they could use as an opportunity to bring everybody together and say yes. To be honest, I can't see.
A landmark birthday is one
Whose
that they could.
birthday?
A landmark birthday.
Of
Or
who? The child, of the parent. It has to be of the child. We're talking about people that have contributed to the
either,
child's.
because whoever contributed to the child is likely to be in the parent's life as well, if they still deem them so important that they must invite them. So
No, are you talking about the? Are you talking about the the child's birthday?
it could be
Let's say this
either the
bride.
child or the parents.
For the
You know,
parents, it's not
to
likely to be everybody. It's not
appreciate them,
likely to be
to acknowledge
everybody.
them. So
It's not
you can
likely to.
acknowledge them you can encourage them at your event. It doesn't either way, they're there for you, really. Like the kid doesn't really you know, it's the parent that considers it like, oh, it is my honor to host you and
I
to spend.
understand the bride's perspective, honestly. A lot of young people will agree with her, and I guess that's why you are tilting that way, right? A lot of young people are likely not well, let me say a lot of some young people, because there's a lot of young people that also want the big and flamboyant ones too. But let's say a
I think
significant
even if
number.
it's going to be big, I think it should be big with the people you want. I don't think for me, I'm particular on small wedding, big wedding. It's not the size; it's the content. It's the quality of the people. Do you look around the room and think, oh wow, these are people that I feel are my people, or do you look around the room and think, oh, who's that? I don't think you want that on your wedding day.
That's why I'm saying most of the time, let me tell you, most of the time, this particular dilemma that we are looking at, I think most of the time it is because this is especially because this person is a returnee. If this person has lived all her life in Africa, in Ghana, she might not feel that way. She might feel some way about if they turn it into a carnival that she's not going to, but she's not likely to make it look like the way it has been presented. She won't feel that way. And that's why I'm attributing it to the fact that when you have been in a culture that is individualistic in the West, it makes sometimes the communal culture thing look like it is burdensome. I'm not saying both does not have the pros and the cons. And because of that, because in the West, three people can just go and get married and they're good. Because there's no communal raising of any child here. There's no village raising of any child. No, it's nobody's business here. But that is not the way it is in Africa.
So I heard one. Who was it that was saying this? Oh, I think he might have been on a podcast by Tosi and Daniel Etim Efyong, and I heard her make a suggestion that I'd never heard before, and I thought this might be a good one for parents, especially African parents who want a certain crowd to be present at wedding celebrations. She was like, oh, that she'd actually heard from somewhere that what these parents did, with the kids to accommodate the way that the kids wanted the wedding to go was to do a Thanksgiving after the wedding, and they made the Thanksgiving like a whole thing.
Yeah,
So
I
they
think
did
I
a whole
to be
thing for the
honest with you, I don't yes, I like that perspective and I like that solution. We'll still get to that solution, but it's just good for people to understand the thinking of the different parties here, right? That's why we are just trying to look at we'll definitely get to the point where we are going to look at that, because from the dilemma that you read to us, it appears the parents are contributing significantly.
for the
That's
wedding
what we have.
financially.
Yeah. And I'm sure because when you compare and contrast, when you compare it to the Western culture wedding, it's the bride and the groom.
Yeah,
So that's why they make the decision. But in
yeah.
Africa, you're not left to do this. So, and that's why they can make the decision that, oh, okay, what I have is only for 5 people. And because it is an individualistic culture, even the parents and the people around will not say, oh, no, let's have more, we can contribute. It is not their culture. They don't contribute. It's your wedding. Whatever you decide, they help you. They just support you with whatever. Okay, if it is 2 people, that's fine. We just send the card to you. We wish you congratulations. But over there, it's not like that. And I'm
But I
happy that you
still
highlight.
think that even though the parents are contributing financially to the wedding, surely of all other things, it should be your joy to make your child on the
I agree with you
life
hundred
if you're
percent.
going to do this
And
happy.
I agree with you 100%. It should not be my contribution as a parent should not be a tool of control. A tool of control. But however, what I'm saying is that compromise is what is needed here, because either parties, they are valid, and the real issue is not actually isn't actually the guest list, is the fact that The two of them are operating from two different worlds. I think that's
Yeah.
the real, yeah. I think that's the real. That's and their cultural clashes here. The daughter is thinking the wedding is about me and my partner. That's how she's thinking. The
Mm.
mother is thinking this wedding is about the family and the community. Because don't forget, this is the time that most of the time, especially for us in Africa, we get to know each other. We want to know all members of your family. Here in the West, they don't need to know any member of their family. They don't need to.
The partners,
Yeah,
they
just
get
the part.
the members of the other partner's family is what you mean.
Yeah, the two families. I'm talking about the two families. It's not
Yeah.
compulsory here. If it comes, fine, but it's not something that's compulsory. But in Africa, it's a big deal. It's a
I
big
know
deal.
what you're saying. Like you said, maybe compromise is best, but I do think that each party needs to really, really consider, and ultimately, honestly, I think the parents need to consider and understand, acknowledge that this is not their wedding, it's their child's wedding. And don't try and live
Make it
vicariously through your
yours.
child. Yeah, it's not
Mm,
yours. You
mm,
know, it's a choice for you to contribute financially, and I'm sure they're grateful for your choice to do
mm.
so. But it's not your wedding. I think on the side of the child, I would say I sympathize, and I would suggest that
Father, or what do you mean when you say father? What do
I
you mean
said
by father?
the side of the daughter.
Oh,
Of
okay,
what did I say? I think I said on the side of the daughter
okay.
that I sympathize. I would say that compromise is probably required. To be honest, you're going to have to let some things run because yeah, like they're your parents. Ultimately, there's also the part of as Africans, your wedding day is your family's day of joy as well as yours, and your
Mm,
parents are a big part of that if they've raised you in a way that is worth
mm,
celebrating.
mm.
And yeah, I think you should compromise. Now, for example, compromise can look like instead of 50 people, you might compromise. I don't know what the number your parent wants it to
Yes.
be, but
Mm,
let's say 200. You might reach a
mm,
compromise and say, okay, how about 100? And see how you can take it. I hope that the other side, though, doesn't just insist and say, no, this is my the first wedding we're doing, or no, you're my child. This is like that's when it starts getting difficult, and that's when people start digging their heels in because it's now like
mm.
you're forcing me to do something I don't want to do.
Yeah,
Like what?
yeah. Mm,
So I hope both sides can be understanding enough. Now the part about not doing the traditional wedding in the fullness of it. So
mm.
Alema also mentioned wanting to do a reduced traditional ceremony because they want to put the money elsewhere. I mean, the parent could also say,
That
"Don't
makes
worry,
sense for me. That
I'll
makes
pay for
sense for
it."
me.
But it depends on, some also some people, especially if they're returnees, they might not be so deeply connected to the African culture.
Culture, yeah. But
Whether
that's
that's
also an
something
avenue for you to learn. You don't want to be
it
the way
depends. It depends whether they
it's the
want to
way.
learn. It's not by force.
No, but the thing is that it's the way when you were living in the West, you didn't come and say, "Oh, from where I'm coming, this is how they do it." You learned the culture.
Yeah,
You
but it's your
lived
wedding
the
day.
culture. Sorry?
Yeah, but it's your wedding day. No matter
Yeah,
how the culture says this is
even
my wedding day, so this is how I want to do it.
but that's what I'm saying. It's still the thinking of individualistic thinking. That's what is making you think. And we are saying that in the African context, that is not how when you take communality out of African, you have lost the culture of Africa. And
Okay.
I am saying, okay, let's say for instance, let's flip the script. Let's flip the script. Let's say we have two Caucasians that came to Africa in Ghana and they decide they want to get married.
Yep.
Do you think they are going to get married the African way? No, they are not.
Mm.
It's what they are used to in the West. That is what is still going to prevail. So why is it that we are very quick? I'm not saying it's going to be easy for that person, especially if she has lived most of her life abroad. Why is it that we are now very quick? For them, they don't care. Even if they lived most of their lives in Africa, when they want to do those things, they will still do their own way. They can infuse yours. And most of the time, when they infuse the African culture, we are superly excited about it. But we are not asking them to dump theirs. So why is it that when it is ours, we are quick to say, no, no now, no now. This is about culture. And the compromise, the one that you were trying to say, you said the other time that you said that Toyosi mentioned about Thanksgiving, it's a great that I believe in. The fact that you are co-funding or even sole funding the wedding does not mean that you control. You need to, it's the day of this to the bride and the partner. You need to take their feelings and whatever they want into consideration. But the thing is that from the other part too, they also need to take the feelings of their parents into consideration, how they're thinking, the logic behind and the context behind their thinking, so that we don't need to be at logger. It can be a win-win. We just need to move from the two angles. So let's now look at the possible solutions. You mentioned one that time, which was the parents can organize, they can have a Thanksgiving.
Yes, I know another one that people do. I don't see it too many times, but I've seen it a few times, which is Mother's Day or Mother's Night, sorry, with
Okay,
mothers that want to, again, that's a form of recognizing maybe people that you think have contributed to the child's life and raising the child.
and
That's
that's gender based though. What happens to all the uncles and all the other
yeah.
daddies and all
I'm
that?
just It's just another option of
That's
another.
another option. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, that's one. And even these days, we have, especially, it's not just the returnee diaspora. We have people that are having two parts wedding now. Two parts wedding of one. She wants an intimate wedding. It will not be nice for her to remember that day, and she's thinking, I never had the wedding of my dream, which is that intimate one with only the people that I know. Nothing wrong with it. They can have it for that 50 people. There can be an intimate ceremony that is just the way the couple wants it. And we now have a part two. That part two is the one that you're saying, somebody said maybe Thanksgiving, that the parents now say, oh, we are having a Thanksgiving. After that, they now have a big party. Fine. That even the couple might be the guest even at that party. And that even though the party is about it's
It's because
about
of them.
that
I don't
that's
know, I feel like we have too much stress as Africans sometimes.
that's an option. At least that makes the family happy. And maybe that's their own way of making an announcement that this wedding, that we have had this wedding, and that's fine. But there's also another one. You have that 50 intimate wedding. Some people will have destination wedding,
Yeah.
so that they can have that intimate one. They will have the big, maybe traditional one. Okay, invite all the village, and especially if the parents are even happy to, for
Fun.
me, that decision, bankroll it, yes,
Yeah.
because it will not be a fair expectation for you
To
to want
want
to have a big
paying
wedding
guests or not
and
put your money where your mouth is. Yes.
exactly. So if you want to have people, make sure your money is there,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, that might make sense. And the couple can have a destination wedding or any intimate wedding, whatever it is. But yeah, the couple can get their
Sometimes
dream
it
wedding.
just feels like it's complicated to be African
It's
because
not.
it's like,
It's
why do
not.
we have to
We
do
are the
all
ones that we make
all
it
these
complicated. That's why
negotiations? I want to get married.
No, that's why I said we make it complicated. When we flip the coin, when the Caucasians that come to Africa and they get married, they don't go through all this complication. They still stick to what they know, which is their culture. We are the ones that we complicate these things. And there's nothing wrong with the intimate wedding, even if you're an African, even if you have not been exposed to any individual, maybe as a result of economic reasons. I don't believe in anybody going into debt because you want to have a party.
Yeah.
That is stupid. That is crazy. No, I don't believe in that. You are not going to satisfy a community and the
At your
marriage has
expense.
all
Yeah.
yes and no, 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 no. For me, no. And
Mm.
I've heard a case of a couple that went to get married, and they spent so much. The siblings of the bride, they came in, this community effort, they spent so much. Meanwhile, the guy did not have a job. I'm like, why are we spending so much? Why
Yeah.
must we even do the
Well, yeah, it's the same as where you say that the bride side might be like, no, this is our daughter. Like, so many people have gone into raising her, but it doesn't
yes,
matter what
but you
your
wait
side.
until our son, if that guy is my son, for instance, you wait until he has a job. You guys might have all the money too. It does not make sense. And I remember, I think my friend that was telling me this, she said she was telling the one of the siblings that happens to be somebody that she knows, that the money that you guys are using to throw this party, you are going to Austria to get lace, you're going to do, why not give it to this guy to set up his life? Because this guy is getting married to your sister.
Yeah, but still, to the point that you raised, giving him the money to set up his life does not satisfy tradition. It
No,
doesn't. It
no,
doesn't have
what
you
I'm
acknowledge
trying to say there
people.
is
It
that
doesn't
they don't
the
have to, because it was just done in such a huge magnitude. So they don't have to do that.
It depends on
And
who's in their lives. If it's so big, it's probably because their networks are vast. There's so
anyway,
many people that they consider like, oh, this person can't not be there. We all have
mm,
different sides of networks based on the paths of life that we've walked.
that's true.
And they might have walked paths that require a mega wedding,
Mm.
you know?
Well,
So,
if they don't mind what comes afterwards, because for me, wedding is just one day. Marriage is from that day.
yeah.
Wedding is just that date, but marriage starts from that. Anything that is not going to negatively impact on the marriage, I'm for it. But if it's going to impact in any shape or form, no matter what the culture is, you need to have a look at it. Culture, there are do's and don'ts that were made for people. People were not made for those things. You need to review it. You just need to, for in that instance, you need to look at the practicality and the reality of your situation. That's the way I'm. Anyway, so let's just, at least for this one, let's just kind of put the final verdict on this particular one. The final verdict is that the bride to be, is not selfish, even though she's looking at this situation from only her lens and her partner's lens. That does not make her selfish, because she's looking out for herself and for her future. It's going to be just her and the partner that are going to be in the boat. And at the same time, the mom is not unreasonable. The mom is not unreasonable with her cultural expectation or her expectation of more than 50 people. The situation, I would say, requires compromise from both sides, and both sides of individualism and community culture to shift a little bit so that they come to the goal should be to create a wedding that respect the couple's value, because if those are that have their values, we need to acknowledge it, we need to respect it, and at the same time honoring the family values. So a compromise is what is likely to be here. So, but let's have the Japada family, anyone that is watching, let them join in this conversation. And we are putting something on the comment section. It's like a kind of proposal. We are asking the Japada family, if you were in this situation, what would you choose? A small 50-piece person wedding exactly how you want it. B, a big community wedding to honor your parents. Or C, a compromise with two celebrations.
Okay.
Let's keep the
So,
conversation going. Yeah.
You want to read the next dilemma?
Yes, 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 yes. Let's also keep our eyes on any comment if there's anyone that we need to actually bring up.
Yep.
Yeah. So you want to do the next one, right?
Yeah.
Before you do the next, yeah, before you do the next one.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you to subscribe, please. Please, could you